What's up, guys and gals? Troy here, CheFPV, ATXRC Productions, all that stuff. But check it out. Today we have on the bench from Heli-Nation and Trouble Blades Inc. the X Murderer frame. This frame is a brand new frame out. This was actually a first run production, I believe. They sent it to me, Patrick over at Heli-Nation. I want to say thank you. Asked me to do a review of it. Got the package in. I've already kind of put the frame together just to have it ready and see what it looked like. I was super impressed. The reason why I put it together was how impressed I was of the frame itself and all the components. The carbon fiber, first of all, top notch. Very, very high quality. In fact, you will see, believe on the warranty card, which it does include. Yep. So this is the packaging that comes with it, but on the back explains their warranty and their certificate of authenticity. Now, note, and I'm going to use something awesome they included, by the way, which is a file. They included a file with the kit. Nobody does that I know of. So you'll notice here, if it'll, I don't know if it'll actually focus or not, tells you when the production was run. It was June 2016, the make, the model. It also tells you who inspected it, Tim, and it tells you the number. Mine is number 3. I have the 3rd frame ever produced of this frame, so that's pretty cool. Talks about their certificate of authenticity, about how they warranty it, if any defects or any breakages that were not caused by the actual physical crash, obviously. Pretty much the standard stuff. But this file is really awesome that they included, so you can file the edges and get a really nice, clean, smooth finish. And filing the edges means that the delamination is much harder to occur, or does not occur as often on impact. So like when you run into something, you know, like you hit something right here on the front edge, you'll notice that some of the CF starts to delaminate or separate. Well, that's why filing is really good. If you can file the edges down really nice and smooth, you can actually even cure the edges with some CA glue. It actually causes it to not delaminate nearly as much on impact. I typically don't do that, but I do use files on certain situations, especially on the edges, to smooth out the edges if I have them. And this is a really good, high-quality, straight, solid file. This handle is actually just a little rubber sleeve, so I'm very impressed with the file they include. It's a really great little file. So, good deal. Thank you. That being said, the CF, like I said, on the thing here says quasi-isotropic 3K twill carbon fiber. What does that mean? It means it's some space-age stuff that's pretty much higher quality than anything else currently on the market. What the quasi-isotropic does, and I'll just say there's some other factors in it, but one of the main factors is they take the CF and they lay the weave, and then they alternate the angle of the weave. So they rotate the weave patterns to where it causes a more radial weave pattern, and that increases the total strength and durability of the weave. So that's just the basics. Google it. Quasi-isotropic. 3K twill. So, a couple of cool features too, and you're not going to be able to see, but I'll post a picture while I talk about it. I already have this really nice neoprene pad, which is the battery pad, but what you won't notice is inside these screw holes are actually all countersunk, and you can actually see that one there. These screw holes are countersunk, so the cap heads don't actually create an unlevel surface and you don't beat up the screws. Pretty cool. I will say I was originally a little freaked out. I was like, man, you already eliminated, a good portion of the CF, especially knowing that the Vendetta has the grooves down it though. I actually was able to say, it's not really going to affect it. I hope it doesn't at least, but we'll see. Being that this is some higher quality CF than anything else really on the market though, I've been told that they do not pull through. So we'll crash it and we'll definitely test it ourselves. But I'm very excited, man. It's a cool frame. Another quick little feature which is interesting is this lower kind of grooved screw placement. So that's actually for your camera mount. I have a Foxeer mount, a run cam mount in there right now. So that allows you to kind of slide the mount forward and backward to kind of make it accommodate your flying style or the camera you have and what position you need it in. So that's pretty cool. Besides that, I just can't speak enough. This is just a really solid, fun, cool-looking little frame. So what are we going to put in it? Well, we've got some stuff from Multi-Rotor Mania. We have their new Mantis, their F3 flight controller. It's like a $20 flight controller, F3 capable. Really cool, clean layout. And so we have that we'll be using as the flight controller. We also have an MRM PDB, one of their 5 volt, 12 volt BEC ones. So we have all the power we need coming out of this. Pyro Drone, Pyro Flip RC motors. These actually came off of another build. These are 2350 kV 2205s. These are my favorite go-to motor. Hawkeye, race band ready, 200 milliwatt. Run cam. I'm going to actually drop the Swift in this one. I have a Run Cam Out Plus, but I'm going to use that on another build, I think. Some Acon 30 amps, which I also picked up from a local guy that was selling that and the Swift. He was selling both brand new, never used locally, and I got a great deal on them. And, of course, just like usual, VAS, TVS tri-up. So those are all the parts we're going to use, and from here on, I'm not really going to say or do much. I'm just going to kind of fast forward through this, and we're just going to throw this bad boy together, see if we can get it up and flying, go maiden it if we can. Check it out. Here we go. All right. All right. So PDB and ESCs are now powered. We are going to pull off the leads off the ESCs, and then we'll actually power this thing up and test a couple of points just to make sure we see what's what and what's where. And we'll make sure the PDB is firing up before we start connecting all the 5 volt and other low voltage stuff. All right. ESCs are ready to be tested with some voltage everywhere. I always do this, by the way. Typically what I do is I test PDB with ESCs and my whatever pigtail is. Take some voltages to double check. And then we'll drop in the flight controller. We'll connect the motors, get the VTX and the camera in there. And then we'll fire it up again. And we'll see. But that's how I'm going to verify. So here we go. All right, no smoke. Cool. So we got 5.4 running from all the adjustable points, which is cool. We got 16 running from the, and I'm having to look at my other one just so you know. Yeah, so that's just battery voltage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run off this tab here. I'm going to run, oh, sorry. Off this last tab here, I'm actually going to run the VTX power. So I'll run VTX power straight to the VTX. VTX only puts off 5 volts out. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use, which is enough actually for the camera that I'm using, but I don't want to run just 5 volts. I want to run a little more. Yeah, so 5 to 17. So I can run 16 off of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run 5 volts from here to. Sorry. We're going to run 5 volts from here. Can't see it. Sorry, I'm trying to see. All right, 5 volts from these 3 pads here. They all 3 give off 5, and it's adjustable. I'm going to run the 16 volts off the battery, from the battery to the VTX, and I'm going to run off the little tabs here that are 16 volts also, and I'm going to run that to the camera power. So it'll get clean power to the camera, clean power to the VTX, and clean power from the PDB straight to the flight controller and the RX. So that's the way that we're going to power everything today. So, all that's legit. I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to install the motors just because it's going to be the easiest thing to do, and I want to make sure that these motors are going to work on this frame. And what I mean by that is they are used, and I have one of these motors that has like 3 of the 4 screw holes. Yeah, this one. 3 of the you're not going to be able to see it, but 3 of the 4 screw holes on there are almost stripped. But I think I have some screws that are going to get deep enough in to be able to work out. So what we're going to do, I'm going to straight solder these on just straight wires. And before I do, even though these already are a little tinned, anytime you reuse motors, you really should check the tinning and really just add some solder to it, because tinning is the most important part of making a nice, clean, non-cold joint connection. And I think one of the biggest problems people have with soldering motors and ESCs is they don't tin properly, and then they put too much heat. So there we go, 1. I will say these Acon wires were really tough to get off. I was a little worried about how hot I was getting them. But I did get them off, and I'm hoping that I got them off cleanly. We'll see. Once we get everything else flying, and honestly, these were the first motors I was going to put on here. Once we get everything up and flying and tested, we will just figure out. I mean, it's actually a quick, easy fix. Like, all I got to do is replace 1 wire on each ESC with slightly longer. It's basically the wire that's the far one away. I actually knew this when I cut the first one, but I was hoping it wouldn't work out this way. When I cut the first one, I realized I do this a lot. I cut it to the length of the short side, not the long side, so my own stupidity. But we will drop these LD power motors in just to get everything lined up and tested, and then we'll solve the problem. All right, motors in place. Let's go ahead and lock them down. We're going to go with a 7mm screw. Okay, 4, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's almost out of 7mm screws, but I'll work that out later. Motors? Man, dude, these motors are really great looking motors, though. They're big as hell, but maybe it'll just be more fun. So, there's that. Now, while we have this thing opened up like this still, VTX power. All right. It's the 2-prong one right here. So, we need to run some power to the VTX. Now we need. So we're just going to use some excess wire from the run cam, and we're going to use this to power our flight controller. So what we'll do here. Once again, tin these bad boys up real quick. All right. All right, so I've got VTX camera hooked up. Everything's here and ready to be powered. Got our RX hooked up. Moment of truth. Pray to baby Jesus. Ready? Pray to the quad gods. Here we go. Man, those motors, those ESCs are loud. It's the first time I've had those Acons. All right. We powered up. No smoke. No fire. Time to check video. Video goes up. We're at a point now where I can button everything up, bind the receiver, plug it into Clean Flight, and we'll do our business there. So let's see. Fingers crossed that we get picture here. Chip! We got a picture, man. So there you go. It's not built yet, obviously, but we're going to finish it up. button it up, and I'll do a little video of that, and we'll talk about it. But you just saw us build the ex-murderer, I'm sorry, from Trouble Blades Inc. Again, big shout out to Heli-Nation. Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate it. I can't wait to get this thing up in the air and flying, man. I really can't. So, fly safe, fly smart, fly for fun. Peace. Guys, here we go. CheFPV. We got the Trouble Blades Inc. Murderer X or X Murderer from Heli-Nation. Here it goes, maiden flight. All right, we gotta check the motors real quick. Wow, I have to say, for a quick little flight, that thing flew real nice. Here we go. We're gonna do this some more.